Dating today feels fast, really fast.
I was dating, but I was dating badly. Like, I had no real skills. I could be intentional and proactive in my own love life.
A lot of people are feeling more confused than connected and more frustrated with dating.
Are these cycles that you are experiencing? And is it tied to something that's happened in your past? Am I dating the same type of person over and over again? Are the same things happening to me over and over again? Most women don't really know what they want. A lot of times people will overlook red flags because it's tied again to how will the other person react.
Dating is not for the one. Dating is becoming the one.
Welcome to Courage, Comebacks, and Conversations. I'm Susan Lee, business leader, life and career coach, storyteller, wife, and mother. We're bringing you real stories. From athletes chasing their dream to entrepreneurs who left corporate America to start their own business, professionals rebuilding after setbacks, from women breaking barriers in male-dominated fields, and to first in their families who graduate from college. Every story reminds us that courage connects us, and who doesn't like to hear a comeback story? I'm glad you're here. Let's get into it.
Dating today feels fast, really fast. Swipe, match, talk, ghost, repeat. And somewhere in all that movement, a lot of people are feeling more confused than connected and more frustrated with dating. Some are even giving up. Today, we're slowing down the conversation. This episode is about dating with discernment in a swipe culture. How to make better choices, recognize patterns, and approach dating with clarity instead of urgency. I'm joined with Jessica Briel, a life and dating coach who helps people navigate today's dating with intention and self-awareness. If you've ever found yourself wondering why you keep ending up in the same situations or feeling overwhelmed by options but still wanting something real, this conversation is for you. Let's get into it. Hi, Jessica.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
We are so excited for this episode. There are a lot of people out there that are frustrated with dating in their 20s and 30s, 40s, even 50s. Why don't you tell us your story and how you got into the coaching business?
Absolutely. So yes, my name is Coach Jessica Briel Wheeler, and I'm super passionate about helping Christian women who are ready to date for marriage and really have long-lasting love. And this journey began for me a couple years ago after just going through my own journey of singleness after divorce, trying to navigate modern dating on my own, not really getting the advice or practical tools or steps from my community. So, when I would ask, people at my church or things like that, they would just tell me, well, you got to pray and wait on the Lord and He'll send you your person. And, I was doing that, but I was figuring, okay, well, what else can I do? It must be something more to this. And so I was dating, but I was dating badly. Like, I had no real skills. And, if someone liked me or a guy wanted to take me out, it was like, oh, okay, sure. It wasn't until going through my own heartbreaks, going through my own just, emotional relationship wounds, getting healing from that, as well as going through counseling, tons of just books on relationships. There was one particular book called The Sacred Search that changed my life. And it really gave me a new perspective on how to date, that it was more than just sitting back and waiting, but I could be intentional and proactive in my own love life. And I ended up getting my own dating coach. And through that experience, the people I had around in my community, my friends, they were just like, something's different about you. Like, what are you doing differently? And can you teach me what you're doing? And how did you get another date? And that's a long story short, how I got here.
So tell us, what does a life and dating coach do for people so that people understand before we get into the questions about how you can help other people?
Absolutely. As a coach, I kind of help you see your blind spots, places that you may be overlooking, just give you also tips, practical strategies. If you have a realistic goal of, a lot of my clients are either have been out of the dating world for quite some time, whether they've been either divorced or just never even had a relationship before. I want to give them the tools so they feel confident enough to enter that dating world with actual strategies. And then I don't believe in dating alone or dating in a vacuum. I feel like you need someone to kind of vet your, the thoughts that are coming in your head and get real advice and real guidance on how to navigate relationships, because any relationship is going to take work. Dating takes work, and you need to have the necessary people in your life and accountability people, partners with you to help guide you on that journey. So that is one thing I love about being a dating coach. Back in the day, people had like arranged marriages or arranged,
What?
your father would get you a man or something like that. And so times have changed, and people need like actual communication skills. And so sometimes I spend a lot of time just teaching people how to actually communicate, how to have a conversation with someone from the opposite sex and not feel intimidated by, someone that maybe is attracted to you. So yeah, it's a lot that we can do, but all of my sessions are one-on-one, personalized to your needs, so we can really formulate a plan together to see where you want to be.
So let's get into it a little bit. So I come to you and I'm just frustrated with the dating market. What's the first thing you do?
Yeah, so if you're frustrated, the first thing I want to look at is, what are you currently doing? Like, what has worked for you? What hasn't worked for you? And let's investigate all avenues. So maybe you're already on dating apps, or maybe you are not dating at all, and you figure like, I've tried it, it's not worked. I don't want to do it anymore. It's not for me, right? So we want to evaluate again, what are the issues that you're having, so we can see if it's something to do with and I'll just give you one of my previous success stories. Again, one of my clients hadn't been in the dating world in 20 years after her divorce, and so she was very just scared, fearful of, how do I even get a date? Like, what does that look like today? And just working with her over the period of 6 months, she has probably been on, I don't know, I can't even count how many dates, but she's learning how to date with, how to vet while dating, how to use her discernment while dating. She's learning how to navigate even the apps that she's on. So it's building up of skills to learn how to just do the simple things that I think we used to do, back in my 20s, just like meeting people, social skills. Like, today's people and today's generation, like they don't have that. They don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to engage with others. And so to me, that's like step one. If you've been out of the dating scene for a while, let's role play. Let's see how we can, make it easy for you to not be so fearful to put yourself back out there.
So you mentioned discernment, and I would love to kind of delve into that just a little bit. When you talk about discernment in dating, how would you explain it to someone who's really tired and frustrated and making the same mistakes over and over again, picking the wrong people?
Yes, absolutely. So to me, discernment in dating, first, discernment just simply means to be able to judge well. So if you are not judging well, I used to say then maybe your picker is wrong. It has something to do with your picker. This is something I told myself, like at the end of the day, after I kept picking the same men over and over again and going through the same things over and over again, I was like, okay, it's not them, it's me. My picker is wrong. So we need to evaluate again, are these patterns, are these cycles that you are experiencing? And is it tied to something that's happened in your past? Is it maybe based on some mother wounds, father wounds, childhood wounds, your past traumas or experiences, those old hurts or rejections that you never got over? or even the expectation that you have of your worth, of what you deserve and what's really, out there for you. So discernment in dating is literally investigating those things, doing the inner healing, the heart healing work that I like to call. And then once you're whole and healed, you can make better decisions with better judgment. You can now rely on your gut feelings because they are making smarter choices than they were before.
So, Jessica,
Mhm.
how does unresolved baggage from past relationships really show up in dating choices? How do you correlate that work that they have to do from the past? How does it show up in their dating choices?
It will show up, obviously, in the people that you pick. So again, it goes back to those patterns and cycles. You will want to ask yourself, am I dating the same type of person over and over again? Are the same things happening to me over and over again? Am I constantly getting cheated on? Am I constantly getting maybe lied to, or feelings of rejection, abandonment? You want to see, is this something that maybe was occurred once, or is this something that I find that's repeating itself in my life? And how is it showing up? How is it impacting me? Once you identify, I like to call it the fruit of the situation, you could trace it back to the root. You can go all the way back to however it started. And again, for some people, it might be tied to childhood or broken heart, early in their life, whether it was a childhood trauma, or maybe a young relationship that they had that they never quite healed from or got over. So now they expect every time they meet a new person that they're going to get that same treatment. They don't necessarily know that they're doing it, but it's almost like it's cause and effect. Because I believe this is going to happen to me, then it happens to me. And so the best way to overcome this, again, would be to seek out heart healing, which is something I do specifically. I love to deal with inner healing and deliverance with women, and kind of identify what those, again, wounds are that might be showing up in their lives repeatedly. So it does take a lot of kind of deep dive questions to uncover some of those things. But once we do, we can see, like, okay, here's the pattern. So now we need to break this, and this is how we can break it.
So, as you're working with people, are they still swiping? Are they still dating? Like, are you encouraging them to date while they're doing the work? Can you tell us a little bit of how that works?
It all depends on the person, actually, and what they are actually wanting to do. I never tell them what to do or what not to do. As a coach, I guide them into, hey, this is what you should do. But I want them to understand that dating is not, you don't date for the one. Dating is more about you becoming the one. And in order to do that, you do need practice. You do need to see what areas you are lacking, so you know what you need to strengthen. And a lot of times you don't know that until you actually get out there and start to date.
Dating is not for the one. Dating is becoming the one.
Yes.
Pretty profound. Pretty profound. If anybody out there is listening, this is a good time to pay attention, because it's taking the onus off dating to find somebody, to really becoming that person that you need to be in order to attract someone. Let's talk about red flags. What do people tend to overlook someone who is really anxious about meeting someone and having a relationship may overlook red flags. What helps people pause instead of ignoring them?
Great question. So to me, you need to know what your red flags are before you actually go on that date. And so let's talk about maybe what are your non-negotiables? What are your preferences? What are some things you can live with, and what you can absolutely not deal with in a person or a relationship? I think you need to know that going in. most women don't really know what they want, especially in my experience. I was someone who just went along with the flow. Again, if you liked me and you seem like a nice person, sure, let's go out on a date. But red flags, once you've identified some of those things and what they are ahead of time, when it comes up, you'll be better equipped to kind of not, pacify it or overlook it because you will be so, I wouldn't say the word is, you'll have such conviction of why those things are important to you that you will feel more empowered to say no, to more empowered to not overlook it. A lot of times people will overlook red flags because they is tied again to how will the other person react, right? How will they feel if I, say something or they may feel like, oh, I'm not enough or I'm not worthy or I'm going to get rejected if I don't go along with it. So a lot of times when people ignore the red flags, it's more about them people pleasing or maybe wanting to accommodate someone else before they look at their share.
So there are people out there that are cynical about dating or guarded or just burned out. What would you say to them right now?
Yes, I hear that often. I scroll on social media and I see people say, oh my goodness, the dating pool has pee in it. Oh, there's no good men out there. And, don't date, right? And so immediately my heart goes out to those people because I understand, I can empathize what they mean. And what I would like to tell them is, usually, when you feel that way, it's an energy unbalance. Like scales are not balanced in your life. If you are burnt out in one area, that means you're over investing or overextending too much in one area. So you have to find out, where do I need to balance the scale? If you spent too much time into someone and then you got let down, then that might be, it's like, really, who's to blame that you over invested in that and gave someone access to you when they didn't deserve it? Or maybe you did, 3 hours talking on the phone with someone that you didn't really like. Well, then why did you do that? So sometimes it just goes back to the choices that you make and then figuring out how you can pour back into yourself first so that you are always pouring from a full cup and not an empty cup. If you are on dating apps at the end of your day after you've worked a 8-hour shift and you've cooked dinner and you've cleaned the house, then you probably have no energy to do anything else. That is not the right time to jump on a dating app. So I always tell women to prioritize making sure they fill their cups, whether they're doing exercises, prayer, meditation, having fun with friends, like doing the things that light them up so that the scales are balanced and they don't feel that they're burnt out or that they have just some negative perspective on dating. Because really, is what you make anything that's going to make it work. I love to tell women the scripture about the if you give, it shall be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over, back with good measure. So if you are pouring out and giving love, joy, peace, patience to people on a daily basis, then it's bound to come back to you. So if you're not doing these things, again, let's check the scale to see where you're not showing up in order to get these things coming back to you. I hope that makes sense.
Well, that does make sense. And also, people are drawn to positive, happy people. And if you're stressed and, making this, like, even if dating is stressful, then, you're bringing that negative energy into that situation and people want to talk to happy people. Let's talk about senses of urgency. Like sometimes, people hit a certain age and they want to be married. How does that work? What are some signs that you might see in some of your clients that show that they're like more urgent or pressing to do it? They're looking at their age saying, I'm this age and I should be married. They're pressuring themselves, to be out there. What would you tell them? How do you navigate through that with your clients?
Yes. So age to me is a non-factor because you have people getting married as early in their 20s and you have people getting married. I saw a couple the other day in my church in their 80s that got married. So it doesn't have a specific age or timeline when you're ready to be married or to be in a relationship. So I know culture will pressure you. Culture will tell you, especially for women, that you have a time clock that will run out, and that you need to do things in a certain time. And so we hear that. But that does not mean you're ready. That does not mean you should jump into exclusivity. That doesn't mean you should jump into a situationship or a marriage if you have not taken your time again to date. I go back to dating. Dating is not to be confused with being in a relationship. Dating is practicing communication skills. It's practicing how to talk to someone and have conflict and resolution and how to, see someone for who they really are. Again, you should be dating so you can practice these things. So when you are in a relationship, you know what to do. And so again, I go back to, if you've never done it, if you're sitting on the sidelines and you are watching the world, as we say, kind of do these other things where you kind of have not decided to get out there or even put yourself in the dating world, then you are missing out on your opportunity to just build connection. People are your greatest resource. And that is the only way you can meet people. That is the only way you can connect. No, you don't have to, again, get physical with these people. I'm not telling you to do anything before an appropriate time, but you should be able to go out and have fun and enjoy yourself and learn and grow and practice your boundaries, practice how to vet and discernment, share it with your friends, your family, go on some group dates, but do something to, again, continue to get better at building the skills you need to interact with other people.
So I just heard a lot of very valuable information. One of the things that you just said that resonates to me and probably to a lot of people in the audience, a lot of times you go into dating wanting to find a relationship right away. But you're saying take your time and have some fun dating. Like, it's okay to go out on several dates so that you're learning what you like and what you want to have in your relationship. So for anybody that is swiping left or swiping right, it's okay to have dates with people that may not necessarily be your first choice. Can you tell us anything else about that? Like, have you worked with clients that you're coaching through that right now?
Absolutely. So there are some, as you would say, in swipe culture, they swipe right because they're looking at their looks. Like, am I attracted to this person? That's the first thing. They're swiping from looks and they swipe and swipe. And so they have like this swipe fatigue is what I call it. And so one of the things I told a prior client is to put her hand over the pictures to actually read the profile. See if anything in the profile makes you laugh or catches your attention. Try to really see the person. Make sure you're swiping. Like, if the profile only had one line, then it probably means they're not as serious, right? So really take your time to read these profiles. Take your time to vet people, to actually see not just chemistry, right? Not just attraction, not just even connection. Because, our normal body language, or after you've spent so much time with someone, we know what oxytocin does and dopamine and how our body reacts. So I teach them, not to make decisions based on feelings, but to make decisions based on actual facts, right? to look at character over chemistry, to look at to see, are they responsible? Are they resourceful? Are they, selfless? Are they dependable? Are they showing any signs of the fruit of the spirit? If you're a Christian, are you seeing any kindness out of this person? So really that takes time to see. You need multiple dates or multiple interactions to even see someone's character over time. Because we know, some people's intentions could be different, or, everyone's not on the app for the same reason. So you need that time to judge their character. Attraction comes and goes. Your feelings come and go. But those things like character, that remains the same.
Yeah, because looks are fleeting. The older you get, man, your looks really do change. So that person who might have been buff in their 20s might have a pot belly in their 40s or 50s. So, that makes a lot of sense to cover the picture and actually look at the content of that person. That makes a lot of sense. You just said so much, Jessica, and I love the fact that you're sharing this. And I hope that the audience is understanding that this is a marathon and it's going to take time to find your right person. What's something that, I wanted to say this. This is not just advice for women. This is also advice for men, right?
Yeah.
There are a lot of men out there that are looking for good women as well, but they run into all kinds of obstacles and challenges as well. What would you tell, young men out there that are on the dating apps and they're actually serious and looking for a good woman as well?
Yes, I think for men, it can be even harder because of how we've kind of told them to do. Some men are just confused, like, should I open the door? Should I not? Should I approach her? Should I not? Should I get into her DM? Should I not? Like, a lot of men, I think, are really just confused in, on what to do or how even to approach a woman. So, first of all, to a guy, I would say whether you're on a dating app or searching through social media or you're looking for someone in person, you still want to take a moment to not look at just their outer appearance, but what are they really displaying on their social media? Like, do they have, even on their profile on the apps, but do they have pictures that show them, completely naked or without any clothes on? Or do they have, any kind of modesty in their apparel, right? Or do they look like they are, just on there for maybe a good time and not a long time? So the same things that I would tell women, I would tell men to take a closer look at what they're really saying, the words that they're saying, what their daily lifestyle looks like on social media. And then again, don't be afraid to make that first step. Don't be afraid to approach the woman. Don't be afraid to, put yourself out there, because a lot of women, I think, are expecting men to still show up that way, to still be the ones that initiate. But I always tell women too that don't be afraid to get in the way. Don't be afraid to smile and wave and be approachable so that a man will feel comfortable or safe enough to say hi. So I know it goes both ways, but I just feel like it just goes back again to what I keep saying, is that our social skills really need to improve on both sides, and just be comfortable with, again, talking to people you don't know and saying hello, giving out, compliments, and letting people know, hey, I see you. Like, you're doing a great job and I see the work you're doing. I see how you live your life. And I just want to applaud you. Like, giving a compliment from either side of the fence feels amazing. And it's just a quick way to open the door to let someone know that, you're noticed. So I would say that's the easiest way to kind of find a way to get in there, right? To get someone to see you for attraction or something like that.
What are some other places where you recommend your clients look to begin investing in dating? I know that you have the apps, but what other vehicles are out there, or where should they go to actually meet people?
That's a great question. And I always say first, start with your friends and family. Literally let them know that you are dating and that you're ready to date and that you are, open to meeting new people. Because how many of us have met people because of the people that you're already in community with? So a lot of times it's your friends or friends of the family, friends that they know that you've already met. Like I tell some of my clients, like me and my husband met on the dating app, but when we look back through our life, even through our teenage years, we had the same friends. We went to some of the same places, had some of the same church activities, but we never knew each other. We never knew each other. And he lived in a completely different state where we met. So the app brought us together, but if only we had known, like his best friend, his best friend went to the same high school together, but we did not know each other. So it's just little things like that. I tell people, so leverage your family, leverage your community, but also look at what you do go and where you go day to day. So if you go to the same coffee shop, right? Maybe you don't go through the drive-through every time. Maybe you go into the coffee shop this time around and order that coffee and sit down and, work from the coffee shop that day. Or maybe you're at the grocery store, you just take an extra 2 minutes or so to engage in conversation with someone that's there. So it doesn't have to be you going to a specific event, but you can look at your day to day just to see where can I improve my interactions to meet someone new. I tell my clients, make it a goal of yours to meet someone new every week. So whether you do that from a meetup group from social media, a virtual speed dating event, a networking good event, or you just choose, something on your day to day routine, whether it's the gym, that you decide, okay, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I'm going to take my headphones off and I'm going to talk to someone here at the gym. And again, it doesn't have to be romantic. It doesn't have to be, you approaching them to gain something. But again, it's just letting people know, hey, I see you. I see you. You're doing a great job here at the gym. I see you working hard every day. I just wanted to give you some support. Again, a compliment goes a long way.
You just said something that was key. You said, take the earphones out.
Yeah.
I know a lot. I go to the gym. I see young people in gyms and they all got headphones in. They're all tuned into themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just heard you say, in order to be approachable, you got to take the headphones off.
Yes.
How is someone going to approach you if you look, you look like you're occupied with something else?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Makes
you look
sense.
like you're saying, don't talk to me.
Where does faith fall into this, Jessica?
Faith should be the foundation of it all. I completely agree. A stand on Matthew 6:33. I believe it's Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. That means I get the whole package. So if I really live my life in a way where I am putting him first and walking with him and having a real relationship with him, then everything else that I need, he sees my needs, he sees my wants, my desires. He knows who's the perfect person for me. He knows what I can handle. He knows who I need to talk to today, the divine connections that I'm going to meet. If I'm sensitive to the Holy Spirit and where he wants me to go and who he wants me to talk to and where I need to show up, then my steps are ordered, that I don't have to worry about timing. I don't have to worry about striving. All I have to do is be at the right place at the right time, because this is where I'm supposed to be, that things will divinely align for me. Again, faith without works is dead. You do have to put some action into it. You can't just think the person's going to fall out the sky unless he's the Amazon guy or the UPS man, the mailman. Then you probably still need to get out of the house, right? You probably still need to put yourself out there to meet someone or interact with people. But when you do, believe that God will guide you and order your steps, that you're not alone. That again, you don't have to date by yourself, but you can get a coach or accountability people in your life to hold you accountable, to vet things through. But yes, faith plays a significant part on it. And praying and having that spiritual foundation is what you will need in your relationships. So it doesn't stop, but that is what you'll need to grow day to day as you go through each level of your dating, whether it's exclusivity, whether it's marriage. You're going to need faith, and you're going to need to rely on that to make it over some of the things that you will experience.
You said a mouthful, and I'm just sitting here agreeing and nodding because that faith is at the center of your relationship. If we were on our own in relationships, we would not be in relationships because, we all have our own agenda. We all have our own mindset, but, being centered in Christ is a selfless act. And so it kind of helps you in a relationship if you can remember that.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful to think about, is making sure that you are strong in your faith, building yourself up first, and drawing the right people in. Jessica, this has been amazing. What is one final thought you want to leave with the audience?
Yes, I would just want to be a message of hope to anyone who is single, anyone who is really wanting to be in a relationship or really feeling like maybe it's just hopeless for them, that it can happen. Uh, I don't want to just sound cliche and say, it happened for me, it'll happen for you. But it can happen. Your day will come. If this is something that you really want, don't give up on your dream or your desire for marriage. Many people will tell you, don't think about it, just work and just continue on with life. But you don't have to diminish the desire that you do have to be in a relationship or to be in a marriage. But I will tell you, if you're feeling like you are at your wit's end, if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling exhausted, then this session was for you today. This podcast was for you today, just to hear an encouraging word that He will never leave you. God will never forsake you. That He will not withhold any good thing from you, from those who walk uprightly and according to His will. So again, He wants to give you good things. God wants to give you the desires of your heart. But let those desires align with His desires. And if you need someone to walk with you, I would love to be a part of your journey and a part of your story, just so you know, again, you're not alone.
So how do people get in touch with you? How do they find out where you are?
Yes, you can visit my website, Jessica Briel. That's BRIEL.com. I'm also on socials at Facebook and Instagram at Jessica Briel also. So they can definitely reach out to my website. We can do a complimentary call just so we can see where you are and how we can help you. So I would love to work with you.
So we'll also put a link in the comments so that people can go right from the podcast. Listen, everybody, this has been wonderful, Jessica, and thank you so much. I think I'm going to have to invite you back again and maybe invite one of your successful clients to, give a little testimony to, how beneficial the work has been. If this conversation resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on how you're approaching dating, where you might be rushing, what you might be overlooking, and what you truly want in your relationship to move forward. If you found value here, share this episode with someone who's navigating dating right now. Subscribe so you don't miss future conversations, and leave a review. It helps more people find thoughtful discussions like this. Thank you for spending your time with us today, and we'll see you next time. And Jessica, we will have you back. Thanks again.
Chasing purpose, redefine time. Vision clear, the future's near. Trusting God without fear. We've been through the highs and lows. Refuse to quit.